Welcome to the program. It's a Friday afternoon, and as we do sometimes, we have our Outrage of the Week, and my good friends Phil Paleologus and Brian Thomas join me for a few minutes, and we kind of kick around some of the outrageous events of this week. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to start right there. Sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is the new racism, okay? Racism was in until a couple of days ago. Now everybody is a sexual harasser, right?
Yeah.
And California Congresswoman alleging sexual harassment on Capitol Hill. That's the next big bombshell, right? All of the congresspeople, present and dead, who can't defend themselves will now be accused of sexual harassment, right? And we have a serial sexual harasser in our midst these days.
That's right.
George Herbert Walker Bush, 93 years old, senile as the day is long in a wheelchair, has now been accused by a third woman of grabbing her tush. And, you know,
he should be ashamed of himself.
Well, you know, 93 years old, if he's still grabbing tush, I don't know, maybe he should be... I'm a little bit disappointed in these women who, for 2 years, 3 years, have said nothing. Now all of a sudden have come forward. What do they gain? A little bit of publicity. And I think it's, I have problems with this. George W. Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, is an American hero. He was the head of the CIA. He was a U.S. ambassador, a World War II hero, two-term vice president, president of the United States. He's 93 years old. He can't fight back. If in his senile condition he reaches over and pats a lady's bum, then, you know, I think we can cut him a little bit of slack. So I say back off George Bush. He's not a serial molester.
I'm really upset over the fact that when people talk about, let's say, raising the minimum wage, they don't tell people the other side of that story. They always talk about the pluses, but they don't talk about the number of people who are going to get fired because of it, and they don't talk about the fact that Walmart is going to start using robots to scan up and down the aisle in 50 stores. And what this means is that those who legislate at the ballot box are not getting the full story. If it means that some will prosper to get 15, 16, 17 bucks an hour, that's one thing. But to fire, to lay off a whole mess of people because of that is insane. And I'm upset that those who are at least writing out the questions aren't giving the other side. I'm upset about that.
As I like to do, I like to try to bring it back home, at least looking at our state Senate. They voted 27-10 on this criminal justice reform bill. Now there's some good pieces and there's some bad pieces. Let me talk about one, and it deals with drugs. Basically, they want to slap a murder charge on someone that sold drugs to another person and that person died from the drugs. We can argue back and forth about this. We really can. We can be intelligent and argue about it. But what I keep on hearing constantly is, so what about the doctors that prescribe an opiate and then keep on prescribing the opiate and somebody dies? We never seem to go after the doctors who are legally selling these drugs. And I believe what's good for the goose, if you're going after the person on the black market, you should be able to go after the gander, that doctor who keeps on prescribing and prescribing. That doctor knows what he or she is doing. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. A person died. And more people die from prescription drugs, using them legally and properly as prescribed, than people that die from fentanyl, heroin, and all these other opiates.
It's feel-good legislation anyway. So
it is.
There's no way,
absolutely.
No way you can make it work.